Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see so many people who joined this session today. It's Andrew here from careermap.co.uk, and welcome to our latest live event for today. Today we're joined by the team from Arcadis, who will be talking today about their exciting early year career opportunities. But before we begin, if you look to the right of the presentation screen, you'll see a chat facility, and we are live, so we encourage you to ask any questions at any time. Feel free to make any comments and ask questions about the presentation, but there will be time at the end for a full Q&A session. So guys, thank you very much for joining us today. And before we begin the presentation, could you just introduce yourselves and give us a bit of an overview of your roles at Arcadis?
Sorry. Hi there. Hi. So my name's Kerry Sneddon and I'm the Early Years Programme Manager for Arcadis. So essentially what that means is I'm responsible for all of the recruitment for our early careers talent into Arcadis, as well as the responsibility for designing a new graduate and later apprentice programme. So that's a little bit about me. So I'll hand you over to Sarah.
Okay, hi, I'm Sarah. I am a graduate engineer with Arcadis. I joined in 2019, so been there for just a little while now, and I sit within the highways structures, specifically in bridges.
Hi, I'm Rachel Craven. I'm a graduate environmental consultant and I've also been here since about September 2019. So I'm based in the environmental and health and safety team and then also our carbon and climate advisory team out of Bristol.
Sophie?
Yeah, I'll go. Hi, my name's Sophie Hendry. I'm an apprentice cost consultant and I've been with Arcadis since September 2019. I'm based within the development-led infrastructure team, which is based upon highways.
And hi all, I'm Liam. I'm an apprentice engineer in the rail structures team. I joined Arcadis in 2017, so I've been here a little while now, to say the least. Currently doing a level 6 apprenticeship.
Okay, so let's turn my camera off. Okay, so you've met our team now, so we've all introduced ourselves. I thought before I actually talk to you about who Arcadis are and career opportunities and apprenticeships, I thought it'd be really good to share a video with you. So this is our story, which I will elaborate a little bit further on shortly. So Sarah, would you just play the video for me?
From climate change and rising sea levels to rapid urbanization and pressure on natural resources, our world is a more complex place. Arcadis helps you navigate this complexity by understanding the bigger picture. Whether it is maximizing space in cities, making wasteland habitable, or simply taking what you do further, we deliver exceptional and sustainable outcomes safely and consistently. Connecting your vision to our know-how. Our people work collaboratively to create value through built and natural assets that work in harmony with their surroundings. From shopping centers in Shanghai or clean water in Sao Paulo to new rail systems in Doha and reducing air pollution in Los Angeles. Our global operations and diverse experience mean we apply collective wisdom to every challenge big and small. In this way, our experience protecting the Dutch coast for generations is applied to securing New York's flood defenses today. So, whatever your challenge, our teams bring the necessary perspective to provide the right answers now and in the future. Arcadis, improving quality of life.
Okay. So hopefully you got a bit of a flavour of what we do from the video. We are a complex organisation. We predominantly, well, we're design and engineering consultancies, and we basically improve everyday quality of life by creating spaces where people want to live, work and play, improving mobility and making the best use of natural resources. And throughout our long history as a leading design and engineering consultancy, we've never stopped innovating, whether looking at how connected and autonomous vehicles will impact our cities or how we can meet the UK's growing data needs, through to how companies can improve their workplace environment or how to digitise road and rail infrastructure. So you can imagine we are a big organisation, and there generally is somewhere, in terms of careers, that is attractive to a lot of individuals. In terms of our key business areas, we've recently just changed our strategy. So we change our strategy every 3 years. And our key business areas are sustainable solutions, focus and scale, and digital leadership, to create and maintain a sustainable future. And you'll hear the word sustainability quite a lot while I'm speaking, as I mentioned. So sustainability really is at the heart of everything we do. It's incredibly important to us. We are a brand that does improve quality of life. So sustainability runs through the absolute veins of the organisation. And our people-centric solutions will address our clients' greatest challenges and deliver sustainable outcomes that positively impact the environment, society, and the economy. We have optimal access to global skills, capabilities, and experiences available, and all to be implemented at the local level. The 3 business areas that we focus on are resilience, so protecting our environment and water resources for future generations, places, creating and managing sustainable places where people live, work and thrive, and mobility, so developing sustainable and innovative solutions to transform the way we move around the world. Finally, our industry is going through quite a big change at the moment, in terms of automation. We're digitizing a lot of the capabilities that were once offered, so there's a heck of a lot of work going on in that area at the moment. So we'll work with clients exploring new business models, bringing best-in-class digital solutions to provide competitive, resilient and effective solutions. In terms of our services, so these are the services we provide throughout the business. So design and engineering, environment, business advisory, project management, program management, and cost and commercial management. And we are a global organisation, so we have presence in all of the countries you can see here on the slide. In the UK, we've got over 3,600 people. Across the globe, we've got more than 28,000 employees. We're present in North America, so we're actually quite big in North America, just under 7,000. We've got 6,000 people in Asia. Australia's probably one of our newest countries, and we've got 600 people that work there. So, you know, we're pretty significant in terms of what we do and our global reach. Okay, so in terms of the early year entry routes, I mean, we take on each year round about 80 graduates, and we've got graduate programs, so engineering, consulting, project management, specialists and scientists, and digital. We also take on apprentices at different levels, and we do work experience. So whilst I appreciate that a lot of you today, you know, may be interested in learning more about apprenticeships and work experience, I did want to highlight that, you know, even though we do have technical roles within Arcadis, for any individuals who are applying for our project management, consulting or digital programs, we do consider degrees from all backgrounds. So as you can appreciate, many university students go off to university, do a degree, and then probably never end up in a career that's anywhere, you know, in relation to what they've studied. And historically, we've put graduates through MSc conversion courses, but as we change in, you know, with digital leadership at the forefront in terms of what we do, you know, we are able to have a vast array of those skill sets working across our services, and we do need people from different backgrounds, you know, fit really nicely into Arcadis. Anybody that's applying for any of our graduate opportunities that are in engineering or specialists and scientists, then of course they do need the relevant degrees, but we do have a heck of a lot of individuals who started out in Arcadis from non-relevant degree backgrounds, you know, and it's obviously a great way of, you know, putting university into employment. Quite often, you know, a graduate may complete a degree, as I say, and then decide to pursue a career in something entirely different, and that's later in the life. And of course, they can do that as well. Every year we take on around about 80 graduates. We also take on around about 30 industrial placements. So anybody that's studying to do a technical degree can then apply to come and do an industrial placement with us. And those tend to be in project management, consulting, or in engineering. We also take on a lot of interns each year. So we take on around about 70 interns, and a lot of those individuals then come back to us for returning internships and convert at a later point as graduates, as do our industrial placements. So it's a great way of growing talent pipelines in terms of early years through a number of different avenues. We also take on around 30 to 35 apprentices a year. And just to go over the apprenticeships that we have within Arcadis. So we take on level 3 engineering apprentices. So those are individuals who have just done their GCSEs or are doing some form of technical BTEC. Those individuals would finish their GCSEs, they would apply to undertake a level 3 apprenticeship, and they would then be matched with an employer, or that they would apply directly through us, and we then match them with the providers who do the courses. We also offer level 6 degree engineering apprenticeships, as well as quantity surveying, and we do that for project management, building surveying. In terms of environmental, it does say it's actually a level 6 here, and this is a new apprenticeship, and it is actually a level 4. So again, you know, the standards in terms of applicants applying, they don't necessarily have to go on and do a BTEC or any other qualification. And we also have level 4, and those are in BIM and digital. As I mentioned, you know, digital is pretty hot topic these days, so we need to ensure that we've got people within our organisation that are growing from the grassroots who are going to provide those digital and data skills. You know, graduates do come to us, you know, who are engineers, etc., as well as environment and project management, and they tend to have really, really good digital skills as well. In terms of when we go live with those applications in any normal year, not following a pandemic, we'd usually be live with applications in February, whereas this year we've only just gone live. And we've, up until last year, always undertaken work experience weeks with students in our main offices. So those are Birmingham, Bristol, Manchester, London and Croydon, where students are able to come and really experience what it's like to work here, and also to get some project experience as well. Obviously, we weren't able to do that last year. We don't have a platform where we can offer virtual work experience. So unfortunately, we did miss out on that last year and are likely to this year as well. But we are looking to see what else we can do, you know, in terms of insight. So students are getting, you know, some exposure in terms of the careers that we do have within Arcadis. So I now wanted to, I still feel there's a real stigma, you know, attached to apprenticeships. And although, you know, they've come a long way in recent years, you know, they do help people get into employment as well as develop. You know, it's not, university isn't for everybody. Not everybody is academic, and therefore sometimes an apprenticeship is a much better, you know, form of learning, and also, you know, going to university while you are learning on the job. You know, so the government, as you know, pledged to achieve 3 million apprenticeships by 2020. There are still myths surrounding, you know, what an apprenticeship is and what value they provide. You know, and this first statement here, you know, apprenticeships tend to be for people who didn't perform well at school. I couldn't disagree with that more. You know, it's true that people, you know, do perform better by doing hands-on. So sometimes a hands-on apprenticeship may suit them better. But there are apprenticeships available, as I've already mentioned, in the likes of project management, engineering, and not all of it is around hands-on. You know, we're a consultancy, and we employ apprentices. They still get all of those experiences, as well as being able to go to universities. You know, I think people think as well that apprenticeships are just for those that want to do more manual jobs, and you know, it's just a common misconception. You know, the sector in itself does have many offerings, for instance, in hands-on construction engineering and beyond, but there are also apprenticeships in business, admin, marketing, and many, many more. I think as well, people tend to think that apprentices are low paid. So whilst, you know, there are, you know, some employers out there that do pay the minimum wage, we, you know, now pay our degree apprentices a starting salary of in between 17 and 19,000 £19,000 a year. And that does increase every year. You know, and by the time an apprentice finishes their apprenticeship, they've kind of overtaken new graduates that are coming in. They've got all the experience, they've got no debt, and you know, they're very well-rounded individuals. And also, I think, you know, apprentices, that some people think apprentices are just for school leavers. Again, that isn't true. We do have people who join us as apprentices. They might not actually go on to any of our programs, but we do let them retrain via the apprenticeship route. We've had a number of people who've had careers in, say, for instance, teaching in the past, who've asked, you know, are there career opportunities within our organisation for them? And of course, having apprenticeships does actually allow people to retrain. Another myth is that apprentices don't add value to a business. They absolutely can. They can add so much value, not only from assisting teams, at various levels, but also, assists helping spread the workload from overstretched employees, also boosting productivity. They can quite often raise staff morale as well. They're usually very bright and bubbly individuals. So they really do bring diversity into the team, as well as helping to close skill gaps, which obviously many of us do have. Just before I hand you over to Sarah or whoever's on next, these are some things that I've just like to point out in terms of, why would you choose an apprenticeship? And obviously, one of the great things is you can earn while you learn. As I say, it's a great route if you're not an academic, but you would like to get a degree. It's an absolutely fantastic way. It doesn't actually take you too much longer than going down the graduate route, and you are a fully qualified individual at the end of it. So you do get a recognised qualification. I think a lot of people think that the qualifications that are associated with apprenticeships aren't real, and they absolutely are. And you can do anything from as low as a level 2 apprenticeship, which will just get you your basic grades, to then progress on to going on to a level 3 and level 4 apprenticeship. Whereas obviously level 5 is more your HNC, HND level, and then your level 6 goes to degree. And they've even now started to introduce a level 7 MSc apprenticeship, which has been prevalent in the accounting world for some time. So, the likes of PwC, KPMG, have been using apprenticeships for quite a few years, really, since they've been introduced. Another advantage is obviously it gains individuals who are doing apprenticeships independence and respect. They also get ongoing personalised support. They're assigned an assessor to help them through the course. And they also gain real life work experience, which you just can't put a price on, especially, in sort of the world that we live in at the moment. And also, it does improve employability. So if, say, for instance, you didn't want to stay with the employer who had offered you the apprenticeship in the first place, it will open doors to many other opportunities. And also, you're developing your skills, not only your technical skills, but you're also developing lots of soft skills as well. So as I say, in terms of that career progression, you tend to get a little bit farther ahead because you've not obviously just gone to university and had no work experience. They also get paid for holidays. So our apprentices get 25 days off a year, plus all the bank holidays, as well as the time off to go and study. So 1 day a week to go to university, as well as time off for any university exams. So that's enough from me. I will now hand you over to Sarah. So over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Kerry. So yeah, as stated earlier, I am a graduate engineer within Bridges, who joined in 2019, who sits within the Bridges team. So what that kind of means for me, my job role kind of comes down to design work, checking, so a Cat 3 check work, which is just checking someone else's design work to kind of agree with it or make any changes, and inspection work. So especially a lot in the last year, I've gone out to a lot of jobs within the UK, which is inspecting bridges like the picture on the screen, just to see what defects there are with them, and what improvements need to be made, if any. Now, for the job role that I do, I mainly work as part of a team. I work within the Manchester office, and teamwork is a core kind of skill required for my line of work, especially as we collaborate a lot with other teams. So, for example, I've worked on projects where we've had to work alongside people in the Bangalore office, to really get some experience with people from outside even your own country, which I think is a great benefit as well. So on to how I kind of got myself onto this career journey. So at school, I've always been very into STEM subjects. Maths was always my favourite. I was that nerdy child. So I always knew from the beginning I wanted to go into something maths related. And it wasn't really until I hit my A-levels that I decided I kind of wanted to go into something that was more physics based as well and structurally based, such as engineering. So when I just finished my GCSEs, I did a 2-week work experience with a company called Dornus, where I kind of shadowed an engineer who worked on site in contracting. And I think for me, this was particularly important because back then I was very much the believer of, oh yes, I want to be that engineer who works on site, you know, hard hat on, really work properly in the field with people. And after these 2 weeks, I decided that was definitely not me. I'm very much more acclimatized to office-based work. Definitely not a fan of the cold for 2 weeks in Cornwall. That's not me at all. And I think that was vital for me to learn because then I knew exactly what I wanted to go into. So work experience, I think, was definitely something which people should get involved in. So then when it came to my A-levels, as stated by my STEM subjects that I love, physics, maths, chemistry, absolutely loved them. But also I found it very important to take a subject that was less STEM related as well. So I did art as well for my A-levels. I come from a very artistic family, and I believed it was incredibly important to have something which uses the other side of your brain to help balance out just the stress of A-levels as well, which it definitely did do. Now, I was told as well at A-levels that I would have to take all of these subjects for at least physics and maths and possibly chemistry to do an engineering degree, which is what I had in mind. Now, I picked chemistry because I wasn't certain which type of engineering I was going to go into. I only really decided when I started doing university open days, just listening to the different talks from the other lecturers about all the different engineering types there were. I definitely decided civil engineering was the way to go for me. So chemistry wasn't really needed after all that. When it came to picking over an apprenticeship to a degree course, back when I was applying back in 2015, apprenticeships, like Kerry said, there was so much stigma about them. There really wasn't any good options for me to do back then. So a degree course was the only real option provided to me, or at least that's the only advice I was given at the time. And then my only options then was to pick between doing a master's in engineering or a bachelor's in engineering. And I definitely went with the master's just so I knew I'd have that stronger chance over everyone else to get a job later. So then I applied to Arcadis as well as a few other companies within my master's year. I didn't do a year in industry as some people do. I think that would be vital and definitely helped out a lot of people I know from university. But as I kind of knew exactly what I wanted to do, I just wanted to finish uni and kind of get on with it and move forward, I guess. So here I am now. And for the future, my plans are to continue with Arcadis. My graduate placement is only 2 years long, but then after that I get a full-time job with Arcadis anyway, just as an engineer. And my plans are to use Arcadis' support system to help me with my chartership so that I can become a chartered engineer. Arcadis has great support systems to help me do this. So I'm going to take advantage of all of them. So yeah, that's pretty much me.
Hi everyone, so I'm Sophie and I'm an apprentice cost consultant with Arcadis, and this is a bit about my apprenticeship journey. So I just wanted to talk about the main advantages of an apprenticeship at the start. Kerry ran over a few, but I added a few little extras. So obviously you get the earn while you learn, you get your high quality training from accredited universities. So for example, my university is the University West of England. So my degree in quantity surveying is RICS accredited. You get to meet lots of different types of people. You expand your network. You get connections from different employers. It's really good to even join LinkedIn when you first start. It offers opportunities you may not get if you were just solely doing university, and you also get a level of responsibility. As you start to work more on projects, then your employer will start to trust you with more and more work as you continue with your apprenticeship. You get practical project experience, and you gain really good transferable skills that will be applicable for the future. So for example, when I'm working on contracts, I'll be able to transfer those skills maybe a few years down the line if I ever wanted to go into contract law within Arcadis. You get so much advice and knowledge given to you by your colleagues, and that's probably one of the most valuable things that you can get. Their experiences also help shape your experiences, so speaking to as many people as you can, I would really recommend. The newfound confidence and maturity in your role. I've been with Arcadis since September 2019, and I've grown so much as an individual. You don't think at the start that you will grow as much as you do, but you just get so much more confidence, and it's just a great opportunity. There's so many more benefits, but of course there is the slight challenge of when you've got to balance university work and a social life. It can be quite difficult at some points, but it is all worth it in the long run, I assure you. Right, next it says is Rachel's presentation. So Rachel, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. So yeah, just brief introduction. Rachel Craven, graduate environmental consultant with Arcadis since September 2019, same as the others. Sorry, can you see the next slide? There we go. Oh, I think I'm missing one.
Mine was missing some as well, Rachel.
Okay, I'll go on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I was quite lucky from a young age. I knew what I wanted to do. I really enjoyed science and learning about the environment growing up. So GCSEs, I took triple science. I did a lot of work experience, volunteering, sort of at a safari park, and then also a manufacturing plant within their environmental team. So yeah, I was quite lucky in this aspect. And then when I was applying to university, I still wasn't sure what exact degree I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to go to the University of Plymouth. So here I applied for both environmental science and marine biology and coastal ecology. This was after, similar to Sarah, after listening to the different courses at an open day. And one thing I definitely recommend is going to as many open days as you can. There was a lot that I thought I would love and didn't, and a lot that surprised me. So it's one of those things you definitely know as soon as you get out of the car when you visit one, if you love it and want to be there or not. And then after my second year at university, I completed a year in industry at General Electric Renewable Energy. So I was their environmental health and safety intern in the onshore wind sector. This has definitely provided a lot of skills that I've further developed during my graduate scheme. And as someone in the environmental sector, I was unsure about being in an office environment, but yeah, like Sarah, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. So whilst at university, I got involved in the Environmental Society Committee. This involved a lot of beach cleans, talks, social events, as well as some campaigning on campus. A high point of my university was also a 15-day expedition to Malaysia and the rainforest, so I would definitely recommend my course for that. Another thing I wouldn't be too worried about is moving too far from home. So I'm from Liverpool originally, moved down to Plymouth for university, then lived in Reading for my year in industry, and now I'm living in Bristol. So yeah, nowhere's too far these days, and I think it's definitely helped me gain confidence and a lot of independence. So I started as a graduate consultant in Arcadis in 2019 within the environmental and health and safety team, doing a lot of health and safety legal registers and health and safety audits. I then slowly moved into more environmentally focused projects within the Carbon and Climate Advisory team. So the work I do pre-COVID is a nice mix of office-based work and site visits, which seems quite right for me. Yeah, obviously pre-COVID, now I'm more just working from home. So a lot of different types of projects, which is quite nice, and also the opportunity to do a lot of additional training and some certifications. I also have an interest in digital solutions, so my role at Arcadis has allowed me to sort of expand on this and get a license for quite a lot of different softwares. I also joined as a two-year graduate scheme, but I'm quite lucky I'll be moving up to a consultant level starting from tomorrow, actually, after 19 months, so you're definitely not stuck to the structured 2-year programme. And then just some thoughts about my career journey that I've picked up is no matter where you work, it will be a business. So yeah, I never did business at GCSE or A level. So coming into this role and having to help on bids and things like that, it would definitely have been good if I had a bit more understanding of the basics of business and finance. So I definitely recommend sort of researching that a bit more if you're wanting to go into the more corporate world. Also, apprenticeships weren't really an option whilst I was in education, and it's good to see things have changed and there are more avenues as everyone's different. And I believe Arcadis will be hiring an environmental practitioner apprentice this year for the first time, which is quite nice to see. Yeah, I definitely miss university, but not all of it. It's quite nice having more structure to your life, not as many late nights and having your weekends back. It also took me about a year to get to grips with my role. So, you know, if you're not feeling confident in the first few months, I think they say it does take about 12 months to find your feet. So definitely be aware of that and don't sort of be too hard on yourself. And then I definitely recommend sort of getting more comfortable with using a lot of types of software and applications, as I think there's going to be a big push in this area. And then, yeah, just be confident, sort of go after your passion. Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback. And I think that's me.
Okay, so yeah, following on from that, thank you very much. As mentioned previously, I'm Liam Everett. I'm an apprentice engineer in the rail sector. I joined in September 2017 on a level 3 apprenticeship scheme. So basically, I did my first year of A-levels, and within about 3 weeks of starting that, I realised that it was not the route I wanted to go. As Kerry said, I was done with being in classrooms, really. I did quite well in school and stuff, but I was just so fed up being in the classroom every single day that I started looking for alternatives and started applying for apprenticeships. Here I am today. I've always had a passion for engineering, and I was always getting in trouble as a kid for taking things apart and trying to work out how it worked. So that's how I sort of found the route I wanted to go. Civil engineering was an odd one for me, really. I applied for lots and lots of different types of apprenticeships, and after just going to different interviews and different, speaking to different companies, Arcadis just really stood out to me, and here I am still 4 years later nearly, so good move on my part. So the current situation is I finished my level 6 apprenticeship. The course was accredited with the Institute of Civil Engineers. So as part of my level 3 apprenticeship, I had to sit a review for engineering technician accreditation. As part of that, that's now complete, and I moved on from there onto a level 6 apprenticeship, which is studying at Coventry University civil engineering bachelor's degree and working towards incorporated engineer. So in engineering, it's a similar sort of principle in the project management and routes like that. But there's 3 main levels for accreditation. So you've got engineering technician, which is your sort of level 3 equivalent, incorporated engineer, which is your level 6 and BSc sort of level, and then full chartership, which is you can do following a master's or various exposure in industry. It depends on which route you end up going. Currently, university is fully from home, but normally it would be 1 day release to campus. So let's make the next slide. So what I like about being an apprentice is it's learning the concept on the job. So instead of you being told in a classroom all day, this is what you do, you actually get the hands-on experience of why you do it that way and why it is done that way as well. You get to work alongside senior staff with years and years of experience, and they're always happy to help. The amount of times people have took 10 minutes out of their day just to explain something like that's maybe not even in your field. Like, for example, earlier I was speaking to someone in the geotechnical team because I was just a little bit confused about some of the earthworks loading, and he took 10 minutes out of his day and just walked me through it. And yeah, I think that's fantastic. And there's no sort of awkwardness when you're speaking to any of the senior staff. They're always happy to help because they've been in your situation where they don't know. And and another great thing about the apprenticeships is you sort of get an exposure to the work before actually studying at uni, especially for myself. So because I've done 3 years working in industry before starting my degree, there's now times where I'll be in uni and I'll understand the work ahead of time because I've already seen what I'm looking at. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. It's like almost like a preparation for what to expect while you're learning. I think it's back to you, Kerry.
Okay, thanks Liam. Thanks everyone. So I just thought I'd highlight here some of the things that we look for from our applicants. So those who apply for any of our opportunities within our Arcadis, these are the things that are really, really important to us. Obviously we need people who want to learn because we live in an ever-changing world. We also need people who are resilient. We work in an industry that can flip on its head overnight, as it did with the pandemic. So we need people to be able to cope with those kind of things. We also need people who can come and challenge what we've done before and also bring innovation, and people who value our values as well, which we're a people first business. It's important that we all collaborate, we all work in teams, client success and also integrity. Okay, I think there are some of our slides missing, which is fine. But I just to finish there, I'm going to hand you back over to Sophie because there are some of our slides missing in the presentation, and Sophie had prepared quite a few slides. So I'm going to hand you back to you, Sophie. I know I've not got a slide to share, but I'll let you talk around your slide.
Yeah, no, that's great. I just wanted to speak about before my apprenticeship and what made me choose this route. So previously, before I started at Arcadis, I decided to do A-levels. I didn't really enjoy them, and I got a grade B in geography. I was really happy with that, and I decided it just wasn't for me. So what I decided to do next was I studied an access to higher education diploma in construction, business, finance, and law. So it just goes to show that you don't have to follow the conventional way of A-levels or maybe doing a level 3 apprenticeship and then going to a level 6. There are different routes around it, and just do whatever you're happy with. I also completed work experience for a small surveyors team in the Cotswolds. It was just a couple of days, but it was good to see what a smaller company also does as well. I chose the apprenticeship QS route, but unfortunately my school actually quite discouraged apprenticeships. It was always the route of university and that was your only option, but I decided to go against that. So what I did, I decided to look for apprenticeships, applied for a few with different companies and decided Arcadis was the one that was for me. I wanted to learn on the job and get practical experience whilst doing a degree. It's just who I am as an individual. Lots of people are different, lots of people do like that, and I would say that if you are that type of individual, I would definitely recommend an apprenticeship at Arcadis. I wanted to enter the world of professionals so that I could grow my network and knowledge from a young age and build it up during my apprenticeship. My apprenticeship is 5 years long. That's 5 years worth of work experience and connections that a lot of people out of university will not get. I've always been passionate about built environment and sustainability. In the coming years, a quantity surveyor will have even more of an impact when costing a project when it comes to net zero in the future home standard. So I think entering an apprenticeship right now is really key to get your experience, and you can just grow on it every year. So at the moment, my job is an apprentice cost consultant, but that does come under as a quantity surveyor. I get the same as Liam, so I get the day release once a week to do university pre-COVID. Obviously, it's at home at the moment. At the end of the apprenticeship, I should be prepared to sit my APC, which is my assessment of professional competency, to become chartered and to become MRICS. Arcadis, as Sarah said, has got a really good network for charterships, so that's going to be something that I really want to use. I'm part of the development-led infrastructure team based in Bristol, so we do a lot of cost estimates in the southwest and towards Cambridge to do with developments of housing. Day to day, my role mainly focuses on measurement and tender costing of infrastructure of small and large scale projects. For the apprenticeship, I would say there's a few key skills that you do need. Written and verbal communication. You need to be clear to colleagues and clients. Numerical and data analysis does help, but you will learn upon that on the job. You need a creative and innovative approach to problem solving, and attention to detail is vital. When I'm looking through a tender, you need to be able to pick up the small minorities that might impact a tender by maybe a 5% or something. So it's something that's really vital. Teamwork skills are such a key in whatever job you decide to go down, but within construction, I think it is really, really vital to have a good solid basis of teams so that you can all work together. And determination and ability to work well under pressure. Sometimes there's things that need to come out by the end of the day and you've only got 2 hours left. You need to work to that deadline and work to the client, otherwise they might have a bad, you don't want our case to have a bad representation, you don't want them to think badly of you, you want to get it out to the client on time. Of course you want it to be right, and there are times when you won't be able to get it out to the client, but I would really recommend that your determination and ability you will work upon during your apprenticeship. So yeah, back to you, Kerry.
Great, thank you. Thanks everyone. That was really insightful. So thank you for that. Just hand it over now to questions. Is there anybody's got any questions?
Yeah, so thanks guys for that presentation. We'll move on to the Q&A session now, and we have had quite a lot of questions come through, some of which you might have answered throughout the presentation, but I'll try and get through as many as possible. So the first question comes from Christopher, and he's asking, are there options to work abroad?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, is there what type of places are available?
Well, we've had someone within our team who's just moved to the UK, but I guess that's abroad for them. And they've just come from the Hong Kong office, so they wanted a change of place. So they've decided to move to the UK and work with our team. I know there are other teams as well where people have decided, oh, I want a change of place to work, and they've managed to change office if there's a vacancy in a certain office for them as well. I mean, like Kerry said, with the different places where we've got offices, I mean, you've got America, we've got some now in Australia, a lot of offices within Asia. I guess it's where you want to work, I guess, and you know, we've got all those offices available within those countries. It's just what opportunities there are at the time, and if there's maybe a smaller project, I know within engineering at least, if you've got an engineering project in another country, there might be opportunities for you to go over and work with them. As well as for graduates, we have Global Shapers, which didn't run this year because of COVID, unfortunately, but Global Shapers is where you can apply within the company as a graduate and get the opportunity to all work on a project together, and it's a different location based, so some of those are abroad.
Okay, thank you. Another question is coming from Jason, and he's asking, which university accredits your degree apprenticeship, and do you have to attend university while you study?
I'm happy to answer that one. So yes, your university, so Arcadis will sponsor you during your degree. You'll get day release once a week from Arcadis to then go to university to study. What Arcadis will do, they will usually place you on a degree course that is going to be accredited by RICS, so that when you come to sit your chartership, there won't be any conversion courses involved.
Yeah, depending what you want to do, like if you want to do engineering as well, you need to check that the university course you want to do is going to be accredited by, say, ICE, which is the Institute of Civil Engineers, if you're doing a civil engineering course, or if you're doing any other kind of engineering, it's whatever accredits, whatever chartership route there is for that particular course. Just check your university will be accredited to that they should say before you apply.
Okay, thank you. There's another question here from Tanya, and she's asking, did you have any help with relocation for any of your roles?
I can answer that if you like. So we actually don't. If we ask somebody to move, then obviously yes, we do help with location costs. But the only thing that we generally give people who join the London office is £1,000 joining fee. You know, obviously I don't think we've ever been approached to ask if we could help, because generally people will apply for the locations of interest. But as I say, if we ask you to move or to go anywhere, we would obviously pay for your travel and put you up, etc. But if say for instance you were living in Berkshire and you wanted to work in the Northwest, then obviously you would support yourself to do that.
Okay, thank you. Julia is asking, what are the minimum requirements, and specifically for the level 6 apprenticeship?
Any specific apprenticeship, or
she's asking specifically for the level 6 apprenticeship?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it depends. For ours, we tend to we're guided by the university requirements. And Liam, if yours is any different, do jump in. Because for our project management, quantity surveying, building surveying apprenticeships, we generally ask for 96 UCAS points. Whereas, if say for instance we were offering an apprenticeship and we were partnering with the University of Warwick for engineering, for instance, that's going to probably be more aligned to 109, 110 UCAS points. We do generally publish, what those minimum requirements are when we are advertising. I don't know if yours is any different, Liam, or I don't think yours is, Sophie, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, you're right. Mine was 96 UCAS points.
Yeah, thought it was. I didn't think it had changed.
Mine was a little bit different because I came level 3 to level 6 route, so I had to get a distinction in my level 3 BTEC and get my accreditation with the ICE to be competent to jump onto the university course.
Of course, yeah. So there are a number of ways, aren't they? Like you've just said, Liam, that was some high target for you as well.
Paul is also asking, is there any places left on the apprenticeship scheme for this year?
We've not even advertised with the National Apprenticeship Service yet. So yes, there are. We will be advertising for engineering. We're advertising for project management, but in a specific location. But yeah, absolutely. All of our applications are live via our UK website. So if you go to Arcadis UK and click on careers, you'll be taken to the link via that route there. And we're going to be open for the next 5 weeks.
Okay. And John is asking, what happens after your apprenticeship finishes? Do you get a full-time job at the end?
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest with you, the only instances where we've not kept apprentices on it is if, say, for instance, they've not kept to their studies, so they've they've kind of disappeared, not been studying. And when I say it, it's probably happened to one individual during my time within the business. And then we've also had an apprentice who completed their course, stayed with us a year, and decided that he wanted to go travelling and then pursue, maybe his own business options. So yeah, generally all of our apprentices would get put into permanent positions, and the only instances where they don't is if something's gone wrong or if somebody has a change of heart.
Okay. And a popular question we get asked a lot is, how would you describe the culture at Arcadis?
Well, I can describe it. I was seeing if anybody else wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a graduate coming in, I know companies always say they're people first. I mean, every company tells you that. And I've never actually witnessed that a lot of the time within companies. They say it and then they're like, nah. But Arcadis is 100% a people first company. They are compassionate, caring people, and they generally always want to help. I work within an amazing team. We're quite a small team in the Manchester office, and we call ourselves a little family. But I know from talking to other people within other teams, even in the London team where there's a lot more people, they all find that everyone's good to work with. And like I think it was Sophie who said earlier, being able to talk to senior members of staff is extremely, they're very welcome, and they actually encourage graduates and apprentices to talk to senior members for certain. I don't know if anyone else has got anything else to add to that, but that was my experience at least.
Yeah, I think just to add on that, and Sarah, you're absolutely right. We do find that people do stay within Arcadis for a long time. Even those individuals like myself who like to flit around, but you are supported in terms of your growth and development. We've got, it's really, really important to us. Diversity and inclusion is incredibly important to us. It isn't something we just put out there for a CSR exercise. It's really, really important that we're giving opportunities to people no matter where they come from, what their culture is, a whole array of things. And it is absolutely pivotal that we do that. And it is so, so important for us as a business. You will hear people say it's a happy place to work. Yes, we work hard. We're consultants. It goes as part of the package. But yeah, it's just a great organisation to be part of. To be honest, the culture is one of the things that really does sell it. And like Sarah says, we are what we say we are.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. There's another question here from Sean, and he's asking, what type of projects do apprentices usually get involved with? I don't know if you could share some of the opportunities you guys have had.
Yeah, I'll jump onto that one if that's all right. So I'm in the engineering sort of teams, so I've had a lot of opportunities in obviously in the rail sector. So I've mainly been working on the HS2 project. I'm sure you love it or hate it. It's quite big in the UK at the moment. That's been my main sort of work topic, but I've done various network rail sites where I've done surveying to start with, gone out onto the tracks and the night shifts. I've worked with the geotechnical team as part of HS2 again, but subsections within that. So you haven't got to just stay on one area. You can move around teams. You can move into different projects depending on what's available in your business unit. But there's definitely opportunities to work on lots of different things.
Yeah, no, I can back that up as well. So currently I've been working on the small housing projects, and then probably one of the most recent larger ones I've been working on is about 4,500 residential dwellings, circa about £244 million. So it's quite a large scheme, but it does vary between each sector you're in. So some days I may be working on a smaller project, maybe only 100, 200 dwellings, but then it can go up to the large scale of about 4,000. So each one varies, and your line manager will ensure that you get the breadth and depth of knowledge across all of those projects to help you develop.
Okay, thanks guys for sharing that. Stephen is also asking, do you have any place for information that you can share with students?
Yeah, I think probably the best thing, we have a PDF brochure that generally is a direction to our website, and we're currently in the process of having a revised global website. So I think probably the best thing would be to send you some PDFs. There's some videos on our website. More than happy to share this presentation. There's nothing here that isn't out in the global domain. So yeah, absolutely. If you want to provide your details to Andrew, I can share them through Andrew.
Yeah, that'd be good. So just to sort of finish off, another question that we always get asked a lot is about application hints and tips. Do you have any hints that you could share with future applicants?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in terms of the who we're looking for, you know, it's really important that you it's really important that obviously when students are applying for positions that they get at the job description first and foremost. So check that you know what you're applying for. You know, might find it funny, but it is unbelievable the amount of applications we get that are just don't bear any relevance to what people have applied to. Always adapt your CV, you know, to in accordance with the role that you're applying for. So your CV will not just be sent to every single employer. You know, you tend to change it in terms of the skill sets. Look at what, you know, look at the company values, and also, you know, what are they looking for. So like this slide, you know, we want people who are good problem solvers, resilient, curious, future driven, etc. You know, and you can generally get values from the organisation from their website. And also, you know, get somebody to read your CV for you before you do submit it. Again, you know, if we spot errors on CVs, we tend to reject, and somebody might have a really good CV, but obviously that's not great. That, you know, there's this mistake in the first line. And always, you know, tailor your cover letter, but make it short and succinct. You know, telling the employer what would make you a good fit for the opportunity. You know, as I say, it's a competitive environment, the employment market per se. So it's important that you're selling yourself. So those are just a few very quick ones. I could probably go on this subject for a long time. We do give, if you do get through our process anyway, we do give hints and tips throughout. So if you go into the assessment centre, we give you information. We also give you information about the game-based assessment. That is a psychometric tool. It isn't a traditional psychometric tool, so it's not your traditional maths and English. It's all about behaviours, so it's in behaviours that are important to Arcadis. If you get past that point of time, you will then be invited to an assessment centre. So as I say, you know, it's just about ensuring that you do have a voice, and you know, that anything you do say is obviously considered. You don't have to say a lot. Not everybody's extrovert. I'm certainly not, but you know, we have to go through these things. So I hope that helps.
Okay, thanks a lot. Has anyone else got anything to share about hints and tips?
I do just want to add that if you do find a role that you're interested in, have a look on LinkedIn, see if you can find someone in a similar role in a similar industry or business, and reach out, send them a message, ask them some tips if you can have a quick call. I know most grads and sort of people in their early careers are quite happy to sort of help and support in that aspect.
One more thing I'd add is that if you apply for a scheme and you don't get it, it doesn't mean you can't reapply again next year. I mean, I I applied. I mean, I didn't do a year in industry, but I did apply for Arcadis year in industry during uni. And I mean, I didn't really want one, so I didn't really put enough effort in, and I didn't get it. But when I then applied for the graduate scheme with Arcadis, it kind of showed that, okay, she's applied before, even if it's for something else. And, you know, if you're proving to any company that you're trying to apply again, I guess that kind of shows determination that you really do want it.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Do you have any other closing comments to make, or the best place for people to go if they want any more information?
Yeah, so I think I will share the documents that I mentioned, Andrew, and the links. You know, further information. Our website has got a plethora of information on there, lots of videos and stuff. So, you know, if you are interested, it's worth exploring a little bit more. But as I say, I will share this with you as well. Guys, anything from you?
Nothing more from me.
No.
None from me.
No.
So thanks again to Arcadis and everyone that joined us today. Just to remind you that the session has been recorded and will be uploaded to careermap.co.uk soon, so you can watch on demand at any time. We hope you enjoyed today's event, and we hope to see you again soon. Stay safe, everyone, and thank you for joining.